forbid you are sitting in this place saying, I don't care about legacy. You need to care about it because somebody's got to live in the life you have. You are passing something down whether you want to or not.
Think about this for a minute. Have you ever been going about your day? Things are great, it's joyful, sunny, it's a beautiful day. Everything just seems to be clicking. And then all of a sudden something happens, or maybe someone shows up and enters into the quote unquote equation of the moment. And you find yourself now not feeling joyful. You're even beginning to get a little irritated, frustrated, angry maybe. And before you know it, what seemed like the most amazing day that you were just enjoying and feeling at peace and at rest becomes clouded with this thing or a person. And you just are now not at rest and you feel uneasy. And if you're like me, you're frustrated maybe, or even angry to the point where you find yourself thinking and focusing on that thing or the person and starting to conspire on how you're going to deal with it, because that's the best way to do it, of course, is to take things into our own hands, right? And totally make sure we know what the outcome's going to be and deal with it, because we're not going to let it steal our joy, right? And I don't know about you, but I think that happens more often than we'd like to admit. And that's why today we're talking about how we can enjoy and make sure that the outcome of alignment is simply that, staying in a posture of enjoyment. And it's really tough sometimes. And so we're going to break that down. You guys, welcome to the Mindset Mastery Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Velazquez. And if you've been following along, thank you. You know exactly where we're at maybe in this process. And the truth is, it's not really a part one, part two, part three. They don't necessarily build on each other, but in a way they do, because it's an acronym. And we've been talking about peace. If you're joining us for the first time, hey, go back and listen to them. So this is the 5th episode that we're wrapping up with, and we're talking about enjoy, but we've been going over this idea of peace, right? Peace is a gift. It's not a reward. It's something that God gives us, and it's not like peace that the world has to offer. But the key is that it's a gift, which means I don't earn it. I can't earn it. I can just choose to receive it. And when we do that, it's hard to, because we have to start to exchange control for trust. We have to let go of the idea that I got to be in control and I got to earn this peace and all the things we do in our human nature and silliness. And so there's peace, and then we exchange, which the E, control for trust, and then we abide, right? We need to abide in who God says he is. And he is the God of peace, right? And it's not just the system, right? It's abiding in the source, which is God. And that just means I need to rest. And rest doesn't mean sleep. And it doesn't mean the absence of labor. It means in the mundane, or in the laboring, or in the work, or in the task, or whatever it is we're doing, in the relationship, in our marriages, in our parenting, in our, profession that we're in, we just are at rest. And we move from that, right? Once we're abiding and we begin to realize, wow, this really is a gift. I really can have peace in my life. And I move to the C, which is I cease striving, or another word would be stop, right? I use cease because it fits the acronym, right? Cease striving and let God lead. It is so easy, as I started to give us the example at the beginning of this, to want to start to take things into our own hands. We go from being peaceful, we are trusting, we are resting or abiding, and we're stopping to strive. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I need to be back in control, right? No, it's to stop striving, meaning don't take matters into your own hand. You don't have to work harder. I don't have to work harder. We just have to maybe work, but we can work and be at peace. And today we're wrapping it up, long intro kind of, but we're wrapping it up with E, which is enjoy. We want to actually enjoy life. We want to enjoy every day, every moment. And it doesn't mean this false perception where nothing bad happens, right? Let me clarify that. This is not to say it's the absence of storms and trials and tough moments and less than ideal moments and all the things that happen to us. But because we're learning and understanding that peace is a gift, it's when those things come, we can still be at rest, relinquish control, abide in God, cease from striving, and enjoy even the trials and the tribulations and challenges that come our way, which is really tough if we're not practicing that. And so when we enjoy something and we're not earning it, you don't have to prove anything and you just simply receive. It's a lot easier to walk in joy. And I believe this in context to be true is that joy is the byproduct of peace, not performance. And all too often we think that we're going to enjoy things more when we put ourselves at the forefront of something and say, look at what I'm doing, I've accomplished, I'm doing. Sure, that could be applaudable. It could be admirable even. However, it doesn't sustain the joy we really are wanting. And so it just becomes temporary joy and all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh. And it forces us, or we have a tendency, let me put it that way. We have a tendency to then begin to strive again and move forward and try to accomplish and do something and perform and have to prove something. So the idea that we don't earn it doesn't give us much rest or peace or joy, but that's the world. That's the surface level. This is much deeper. This is knowing no matter what, I can be at peace and I can be at rest and I can abide and I can cease from striving and I can actually just enjoy every aspect of my life and who God's made us to be. In John 15:11, it tells us, right? I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. Like, I don't know about you, but I think an incomplete joy is more like when we're going about our day and the smallest of things disrupts it so easily. And I'm going to break that down more. But when it's complete joy and my focus and I'm actually at peace, which means I am, you know, exchanging my own control and trusting God for everything in each and every moment, not just day to day, but every moment, moment to moment. And I'm actually abiding in Him and it's not me. I can actually just enjoy it because it's not like it's not being passive and like carefree and just like, oh, everything's, rainbows and unicorns and gumdrops. No, it's just really resting and knowing, right, that God has it in control. And that's what He's saying. I've told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete, right? My joy cannot be complete without the joy that comes from God. And I want to enjoy every moment of life. And there are so many times where I look back and I think, and this isn't criticism, it's not shame, it's not guilt, it's just honest reflection or introspective thinking is that, man, I really didn't enjoy that the way that maybe I could have if I just let God's joy be in me so that my joy would be complete, right? And it's not whether things are going good or whether they're going bad, because that has no bearing, because that's not where my joy comes from. It comes from the Lord. And that there's this kind of, and remember, joy isn't what we do for God. It's found in being with God, right? So we just want to eliminate. If there's one thing I could want to eliminate in my own life or eliminate in your life, it would be this, is that it does not come from doing and striving and accomplishment and proving things and something you have to earn. It simply comes from just resting in who God is. And you may be thinking, I don't know who God is. You might be thinking, man, I don't have a relationship with God. Okay, that's understandable. Practically speaking, principally speaking, it's just knowing that you don't have to earn it, right? You get to just show up and enjoy the benefit of something, even though you didn't do anything. And this is maybe a horrible example, but for the person out there who maybe doesn't necessarily, they didn't grow up, reading the Bible, there's no concept is, imagine how much joy you get if you've ever done this. And a friend of yours who has an amazing boat goes out on the lake and says, "Hey, we're going out. Do you want to come?" And you're like, "Man, that'd be amazing." Right. And you're thinking, okay, well, what do I need to do? Like, do I need to give you money? Do I need to do anything? They're like, "No, man, you just need to show up. You just need to come and be yourself. Just come and show up. We'll do the rest. We're going to get the boat in the water. We brought food for you. Like, all the gas is taken care of. You just need to get here. That's it." And you get to enjoy all of the stuff that comes with that day. And you didn't earn it. You don't necessarily deserve it. I mean, and you didn't even have to work for it. And you're thinking, man, that's sweet. Yeah. Well, that's what it's like to just rest in God, right? I don't have to earn anything. And it doesn't mean we don't have to physically work, right? Because you still had to make a decision to show up. And then you begin to build this relationship. And it sounds funny because I'm contrasting God to a friend with a boat. And it's not about the toy, it's about the time spent with the people or the person, or in this case, God. And so we just need to move, right? We need to move from this idea that, the grind for momentum versus God's invitation to simply just receive is my point, right? And so we tend to have this mentality of where, well, I know I could just go ride the boat for free, and it's so amazing. And we almost feel insecure about it. And we're thinking, I feel horrible. I'm going to go work harder. I'm going to get my own boat. And I'm just going to, like, why would you do that? And there's nothing wrong with wanting a boat if you're going for that. Hear me. Context. My point is, we move away from the free gift of just going on the boat, because that's how God is. He'd be like, "Hey, you can come anytime you want. Just let me know. I'm here every time you're ready to go for a boat ride." And we're like, "No, I'm going to go work hard for my own boat, God. I don't need your boat," right? And we're not saying it because we don't want God, I think, as much as we're saying it because we want to feel like we're in control or we're insecure over something. And so just enjoy it is the point, and simply receive it. And it is so hard sometimes to receive because we are almost trained and we've been equipped probably more than we'd like to admit that we have to earn things and prove ourselves and do all this, stuff in order to feel worthy of receiving something that we didn't earn or pay for or do anything for. I don't think it's hard, but we've made it hard sometimes in our everyday life. And so one just practical, like personal application you can do is ask yourself this question: where in your life have you been trying to force joy? Silly example, but I think a lot of people might relate to this is in our human nature and what we understand to be family. And then there's extended family, there's in-laws, right? And I love my in-laws. They're amazing, but we do a lot of things different. And so sometimes it feels like when we're doing something or I'm in their environment, right? It's almost like I have to force myself to be joyful. And it's not that I don't want to be, but that's silly. I just need to stop worrying about it and enjoy the moment. And I can enjoy it a lot easier if I just realize, you know what, God's in control. And this is awesome. And again, I'm not saying ignoring stuff that might be annoying and irritable and hard, but I don't let that destroy the moment because I'm not choosing to try to conjure up joy on my own. I'm resting in the joy that God gives me. So then my joy can be complete. And another thing you could say is, and ask yourself this question is, are you mistaking spiritual busyness for abiding connection? Well, what does that mean? It means, another silly example, but layman's terms and speaking to like third grade level, fifth grade level, I think helps us a lot. But it'd be this idea of having a friend who you can live through vicariously because of the internet, because of social media. You can, see their Instagram feed and page and picture. And so it feels like you're connected because you're seeing elements of their life that gives you some sort of indicator and an awareness of what's going on and what they're doing. And so you spend all this time living through that, but you never once actually call them or say, "Hey, let's meet up for coffee," or "Hey, let's get together." So there's no real abiding connection. There's no real connection. And we think we're connected because we're working so hard. we're so spiritually busy, or we're so often scrolling and looking at the Instagram feed or that person's profile and the updates and what's happening, that sure, it's cool, it's a tool, but it's not abiding connection. And so we got to ask ourselves, are we just spiritually busy? Are we just busy? Or are we actually connecting? We could use the same thing in a marriage, right? Am I just having tons of conversations with my wife about logistics and all the things? And we talk about this. I tell her there's a difference, right? And they're necessary. We need to have those. But if we're just having those and we're not actually connecting, man, we're missing a huge part of the relational factor that we can have and we're meant to have in our marriage. And it comes with practice. And so we can actually enjoy being together instead of being together. And it's not that we're not enjoying it, but we're not, because most of it's predicated on logistical conversations, planning. Where are we taking the kids? Okay, this kid's going, and we get lost in that busyness, and it's not ever, but we miss abiding connection quite often. And so, just a reminder for me, for you, for us is that we don't have to arrive to enjoy God. You just have to abide or show up, right? You don't have to arrive to enjoy God. You just have to abide or show up. And what does that mean? I perspectively, what it means to me and why I put this in here is that I think we won't go to the source because we think, well, I have to get this all together before I actually go and spend time with God. That's crazy. That is a lie. Let me just tell you right now, that is a lie from the pit of hell. But here's an example. It's like we have friends who are been remodeling a house, and we've been there during the process. But it would be kind of like this. Hey, we're not inviting anybody over, and no one can see our house, and we're not going to just keep doing life and enjoying friendship and gathering until all of the remodels done. Now, I understand some renovations, people have to stay away for safety, but this is more of a simple one. But we treat it like that because we're like, until everything's perfectly put together, then we'll have people come over, because we don't want them to see us or see our house in this state. That'd be horrible, right? And we start to use all these silly things. It can be as simple as, well, we have laundry that's unfolded. We didn't get a chance to clean the kitchen, and you want to invite people over. And we're thinking, I can't do that. Like, I don't even want to show up to that. I don't even want to invite people in because I don't want to, right? We're focused on the incompleteness of something or the brokenness of something instead of realizing that God doesn't care. He's like, I don't care. Like, just come. Like that's the whole point. It's in our what we consider brokenness, or in our inadequacies, or in our incompleteness, right? And in our falling short, that he's saying, come to me. You can find peace and rest in me. And if you're staying in that state, you don't come to me. Listen, if you find peace, it's temporary, and it's a peace that the world gives, and it will not last. And so we can enjoy God. We just have to go to him, and we do not have to arrive or be complete or perfect. We can go to him in any state that we're in. And that's so important for myself and for you and for all of us to remember. And, take a minute even now. Man, I challenge you to pause this episode. Not if you're in the car, maybe this won't work very well, or speak it into your phone. Turn your voice memo on if you're driving and do it this way. If not, get a journal, get a piece of paper and write it down. And then just ask, what is one way you've experienced more peace during this series if you've been listening? What's one way you've experienced more peace just contemplating even what you've heard just now, but more or less the last couple of weeks? And what's one area where God might be inviting you to enjoy something and not earn it? That is a great question to answer for yourself. What is one area God's inviting you to enjoy that you do not need to earn? And it can be a tough one for us sometimes, because it requires us to think and go through it. Pause, like I said, if you have to, and do this, and then come back and listen to the rest. But either way, okay, we were created for joy, right? We can smile. We can be at rest and peace. and we can rejoice in our day to day, not because of what we've achieved or accomplished or proven, but because of who we are aligned with is why we can rejoice. Okay. The enemy in the Bible, Satan, says he has one mission. It is to steal, to kill, and destroy. He wants to steal your peace and joy. And the best way to disarm that is to rest, to abide in God. That's the best way to disarm him. And we think kill, to seek, kill, and destroy. I don't think it's ever a specific exact kill like we would think of murder. No, it's saying he wants to rob us and steal and kill. Like, you ever think of a person who's like comes in and we use this expression, oh my gosh, you just killed the vibe, right? And it's doing anything that causes us to begin to forget that we can walk in peace. We can exchange control for trust. We can actually rest by abiding in him. We can cease from having to strive, and we can enjoy. And when we forget that, he's just using a tactic or something that distracts us from the truth long enough that it begins to rob us of the very peace God gives us that we don't have to earn. And we now find ourselves not walking in joy because we're letting something that is a complete lie take it from us when all we have to do is rest in him. And again, remember, this doesn't mean it's the absence of tough moments, trials, tribulations, setbacks, failures. That's all part of it. It's when that happens, or when it's the best of days or the worst of days, whatever that looks like for you, we can still enjoy because our joy comes from him, which means our peace comes from him. And that is where we need to stay. And so we can have a peace because God gives us a peace that we do not have to earn, and we simply just need to receive. And we can have peace in every area of our life. And I know I want that, but it doesn't just come, right? It's something we have to practice. And that doesn't mean work harder and all smarter and all that. No, it just means we need to practice relinquishing control. We need to practice abiding and resting in him. We need to practice knowing and believing that he is in control and that our joy comes from him. Hey, do me a favor. If over the last, 3, 4, 5 episodes now, this is spoken to, hey, do me a favor, even here in the podcast, leave a comment, hey, or shoot me a DM, leave a review if this episode spoke to you, and share it with a friend. I think that we live in a time where, and we've always been in this world we live in, where we need to be reminded that we can walk joyfully and we can enjoy the simple things and the big moments, and we can enjoy or find enjoyment even in the worst of moments. And I know it's tough, and I've failed many times at doing that, but I know that I can enjoy them. And it's just a matter of knowing that God gives me a peace that I did not earn and I do not deserve, and I get to have it for free. It is a gift. And it's like that boat ride. Every day I'm going to get on the boat and I'm going to enjoy it. Not because I have to earn something, but he just invites me to enjoy. And that's what I want to do. So if that's you, hey, enjoy and restore the peace in your life by just receiving it because God wants to give it to you. Hey, you guys, I appreciate you hanging with me for these last several episodes, breaking down peace as an acronym. As always, if you want to connect with me, hey, in the show note links below here in this episode, you'll see there's some links. One to the free email I send out every week to just help us get us jump started for the week with something positive, with something thought-provoking, and hopefully encouraging to say, you know what? Instead of choosing this thing over here that's not been serving me well, I'm going to choose this. And I'm going to begin to bring some practical application to my life by applying it. Hey, I hope it can be an encouragement. If you haven't, sign up for that free email. No strings attached. It is free. If you want to connect even more, hey, sign up for a free coaching call. I've been thinking about this a lot of times. People are like, what do you do? It's like, listen, one of the maybe more practical ways to say it is I'm a spiritual alignment coach, right? Who I am is somebody who focuses on helping people realign who they truly are. Like, what is your identity, right? I am an identity aligner. You can't say that practically speaking. People have no clue what you're talking about. And so it's like, I'm a spiritual coach, but really at the heart of it, I want to help people understand who they truly are and know that that is their true self, and it's not what they do, any of that. It's just who you are, and then operating from that position. So, hey, if you want to connect on a coaching call, sign up for that. That is free as well. And I have a free 5P blueprint down below, just talking about how we can walk in peace, not in pressure, and so many other practical applications with biblical context that are just an encouragement to you, free as well. You can sign up for that. It is in the show note links. You guys, as always, Coach Sam Velazquez with the Mindset Mastery Podcast, and we will see you on the other side. Peace.
God forbid you are sitting in this place saying, I don't care about legacy. You need to care about it, because somebody's got to live in the life you have. You are passing something down whether you want to or not.